What's going on, y'all? It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I'm here with Kihon. This is Alexander with the Torno Sume Dojo. Today we're going to go over the Kihon Kata Kumite method of training, as well as the old school method of training of Kata, Bunkai, and Hojo. We're going to be mixing those two together to optimize our training, right? The repetition and the sharpness of the 3K karate and the brutalness and efficiency the fighting aspect of the old school karate. We're going to be blending those two to, like I said, optimize our training, right? So we're going to start off with kata, right? The kata determines what techniques you're going to use, right? So that leads us into our Kihon, right? We're going to practice the Kihon from the kata, and then we're going to break it down into individual sections, and then we're going to work the Bunkai. The Bunkai is what gives us our fighting ability, and that's going to be our Kumite, okay? But we need strong bodies, mobile bodies, in order to do the Bunkai, in order to do the Kumite. So that's going to lead us to our Hojo. And in the kind of hierarchy of training, the Kumite and Hojo are kind of interchangeable, right? I would say you wouldn't have to put one before the other, right? But we're going to start off with the kata. Today we're going to be doing Naihanchi, one of my favorites. So Kihon, he's going to do Naihanchi. So demonstrate Naihanchi. Take it from the top. All you, man, go for it. By the numbers. Right, so go ahead and bow. Right, so make your motion. Boom, that's one. Your step over is two. All right. Yummy. All right. Now we're going to drill the pieces of the form in the spirit of the 3K, right? So now we're going to take the kata itself, break it down into the basics, and then we're just going to drill the pieces of the form so we can use those later, right? So we're going to start just from the beginning, right? So we're here, right? So draw our diamond up, right? View the moon. Set of 10. Bitch. Hey. Some. She. Scoot down. Go. Go. Sit. Go. Yo. Man. So one. Then without the step, we're gonna leave the step out, right? Thread. Thread. Right. So from here, reaching up the top, grip, thread through, palm up. And we'll do both sides. We'll go 1 and 2. Right? Bitch. Hey. Thump. She. Go. Out. Switch. Hutch. Cool. Chu. Right, so here, so good ikite, good palm. So 1, 2, right? Now impe. So we're gonna do impe in a couple of ways, right? I want you to turn into it. Let's go. We already start from the thread, right? We're gonna turn into it, right? Just to get that full hip turn, right? So now you can throw it anywhere you like, right? We don't want to see that full hip turn, right? So open up, and then try and throw your elbow into your palm. Slap your elbow. Just gonna go one side and switch to the other side, right? So we do 5-5, right? So, bitch, leap, so, she. Go. Hey, switch. Itch. Hey. Some. See. Go. Hey. So, here. 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 Right. Now, it's our grip. Let's go. Let's go like we're doing impe up front, right? Let's put those together. Grip, rip, and punch, right? We'll just add those together, right? But we're gonna hit each technique clean, right? 1, 2, 3, right? Impe, itch, leap, so, yeah, itch, leap, so, itch, leap, so. Itch, leap, so. Itch, leap, so. Hey. Side. Itch, leap, so. Itch, leap, so. Itch, leap, so. Itch, leap, so. One more time. Itch, leap, so. Hey, cheater. Say what you just said again.
I just like how you're just dissecting. I just like how you're dissecting the katas and saying, like we're seeing piece by piece how to perform and how you're drilling it. Like it's different to me, but I like the flow of it. Actually, just the breakdown right now.
Right, so what we're doing, we've broken it down. And we're drilling a set of techniques, right? Not necessarily a basic, because in that form, just in this movement here, right? Let's go here, right? A basic movement is the hikite, right? So hikite is a basic movement, right? This technique here is a part of that, right? Is also a basic movement. I don't have to use hikite in order to use that, right? But in the form, we're putting those together, right? We just haven't we haven't started the line again. Okay. From the impe, right? This stack here, right? So impe, stack, hidamurai, kakisuki, right? Hook punch, right? That's 3 distinct movements, right? This means something. You can use just that piece. We'll call that a basic, right? We'll call that a basic, right? We'll call that a basic. Now, that it works with the hikite, right? But that's a technique. So if I sat here and I went, I would be drilling this technique from this form, right? I would be drilling this basic from this form. Same thing, right? Yep. and we're from our horse stance, right? We drill it from our horse stance, right? So punch, 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 right? And it's different from here, right? You get a lot more of this. Up higher, not as much, right? Not as connected with the ground, but I still have to generate power there, right? Here, 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 right? Now, I guess we'll stay natural. This one's very easy, right? Because you're gonna step over, we're not gonna step, in uchi uke, right? So, just uchi uke. Uchi, lik, son, shi, go, out, shich, ach, ku, ju. Now that's what you're more accustomed to, right? Drilling that basic, right? So, but in that, you're uchi uke, right? And you're hiki, right? Two individual movements that we can use, right? So, from there, what do we got? What's the next one? And we just drill that. Ich, ling, son, shi, go, out, shich, hach, ku, ju. That's kind of like out of what is it? Ansante. Right? So, yeah, you could drill it like that. But not in this. I guess you could drill it like that any way you want. That'd be a coordination check, wouldn't it? That's funny. Try that. Your hands start doing weird things, don't they?
Especially when you do it 3 times.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, sir.
Doing it 3 times, you're gonna start doing weird things. All right, so 1, 2, next one, right? So because that's asymmetric, how would that flow into the other one? That doesn't feel right, right? So we're just gonna go from here, right? We're just gonna start here, right? Bitch. Relax. Relax. Son. Relax. Shake. Relax. Go. You notice you put the pressure, right? I can put it in my forearm, I can put it in my elbow, or I can put it in my knuckle, or I can put it in my fist, right? Try that and see what that feels like. Right, so from here, when I'm crashing through, right, think heavy on the elbow, right? It feels like it's cut short. All right, now to the forearm. Neat. That's what I'm more accustomed to, right? Clubbing with the forearm, right? Now we're gonna move to the fist. Son. That one to me feels stifled, like it wants to
Kind of lean back on this, but
yeah. See now, let's try the back now. That gives you a good snap there. Like that. Yeah. Try it again. Link. Son. She. Yeah. Yeah. See, I never used it for that.
yes, sir.
Right? But that coming in this way and that going forward gives me like a scissor action. You feel that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we're here, right? And we're gonna do namagaishi, right? So we're just gonna do the namagaishi, right? So let's start from here. Put your hands, let's work right here, right? So I don't want you kicking your knee, I want you kicking up like you're trying to hit the bottom of your belt, right? And we're just gonna alternate. Ready? Uchi. Lee. Son. Shi. Son. Shi. Go. Ro. Shi. Touch. Hu. Ju. Different.
Yeah.
It's different. I don't have as much stomp.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch myself as much. And that feels faster.
Yeah, that's a light. Kind of like on. If you're wearing like a nickel watch, let's say, it kind of has that.
Yeah, like snap. Yeah. I've heard applications of that as a sweep. I use it as a sweep. I've heard it as a block to a kick. I don't see that. I've heard it as a knee. I've seen some styles where a knee will work. You know what I mean? You're not even doing the particular way, you just pick it up and knee. I can see that. I've heard of it as an oblique kick. I can see that. And I've heard of it as a placeholder for a front kick. And it's supposed to be a front kick, but it's like my dojo's too small to throw a front kick,
Yes,
which I don't buy.
Yes,
I don't buy. Right?
placeholder.
Yeah, placeholder for a front kick, right? So I'm going,
Yeah.
you know. But then I've heard that first step over is a kick, which I'm not a real big fan of. So start here, right? And now we're gonna whip upper body, right? Just the trunk twist. Ready? Ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hutch, go, ju. Switch sides. Ich, ni, son, shi, go, ro, shich, hutch, go, ju. Me. It's different. Never done that before.
Yeah.
Not like that. All right, so, yep, truck's coming by. The truck is coming by. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the Bunkai section, right? So we've looked at the form. That's not fair. All right, now that's gonna be picked up on the camera. That's not fair, right? But it's real, it's live, right? So we have Kihon, Kata, Kumite. We have Kata, Bunkai, and Hojo, right? So we did the Kata. We broke down some of the basics of the Kata, right? Just in individual movements, just raw movements, no meaning, no context. Now we're going to get into the Bunkai. And the Bunkai gives those movements meaning, gives those movements context. And we're not just going to go off the top of the head. We actually have rules, right? So we're going to... Did I just screw that up? Yes, I did. And I fixed it, right? So we have rules. These are the rules to deciphering or to doing the Bunkai process, because Bunkai is a process, right, to break down. So Miyagi Sensei from Goju wrote down a list of rules called the Kaisai no Genri. If I'm mispronouncing that, forgive me. Japanese is not my native language, right? Okinawan, never mind. I'm not even going to try to say Okinawan in Okinawa, right? But there are 9, 10, 11, there are 12 rules, right? And 3 basic and 9 advanced. Man, my math is bad. Okay, so rule number 1, do not be deceived by the shape, meaning the embusen, of the kata. The kata embusen is designed to allow the kata to be performed within a small space. The shape of the embusen has no bearing on the meaning of the techniques in the kata, right? So, because we're looking at Naihanchi, right, it's on a straight line, going to the side, right? So according to these rules, that has nothing to do with the techniques in the kata, right? So you can go in any direction to do that. It doesn't mean you have to stay on that impulse, right? I mean, which totally makes sense, right? Techniques executed while advancing are offensive. those executed while retreating or defensing. That makes sense. I press forward into my opponent with an attack. My opponent attacks me, I back off and to defend, right? Give space. There's only one opponent, and he's right in front of you. Turning to face a new direction, while performing the kata does not mean you're turning to face a new opponent, right? So in Naihanchi, Naihanchi's symmetric. We're doing the same thing in both directions, right? That doesn't mean fighting one guy, fighting the next guy, right? My opponent is always in front of me, right? If Kumite decides to attack me right now, I don't want to try and fight him with two weapons on this side. I'm just going to turn and face him, right? If he sneaks up behind me, I don't want to try and fight him in that manner, right? I'm not made to work like that, right? I'm just going to turn and face him. Oh God. I'll put that in the B reel. Yeah. I got something in mind. Advanced rule number 1. Every movement in a kata is significant and has to be used in application. There's no salutation or religious or empty movements in kata. All movements in the kata have meaning, right? So everything means something. A closed pulling hand, ikite, chamber usually has some part of the opponent in it, right? I'm not just resting my hand down here, right? X, go to a fighting position, right? Doing this, right, takes a hand out of the fight. This is just silly. This means absolutely nothing, right? So he's got two weapons, and I've taken one weapon out of the fight, right? That's dumb, right? But if I have a piece of him in there, now it's a different story. If I have a piece of him in there, now it's a different story. Excuse me. Thank you. It should be considered to have some part of the opponent in its grip, right? An arm, a wrist, even a head. Well, maybe not mine. I don't have any hair. Dangerous. Utilize the shortest distance to your opponent. The kata will typically attack the opponent with the closest part of your body. You'll typically attack the closest part of your body, right? So anytime we're moving into our opponent, that is part of our attack, right? So even if it's a quote-unquote block, right? That's not a block. That is part of our attack, which gets we'll find that out later on, right? So if you control opponent's head, you control the opponent, right? Body goes where the head goes, right? Kata techniques often target Kyusho points, right? Those are pressure points, weak points, vital points of the body. Many of the most important points are on the head, right? So temple, eye, nose, throat, philtrum, ear, behind the ear, right? Cerulocleidomastoid, getting into like the vagus nerve, carotid artery, jugular vein, all that. There's a lot of good stuff over there. Advanced rule number 5, there are no blocks. Told you. Right? Uke are not blocks. Okay? They're defenses. Right? Defense doesn't necessarily mean block. Okay? However, kata, they may not represent defenses, but simply be the movements of the limbs required to execute a more complex technique like a throw. Right? So a blocking technique, a uke, can be a throw. Angles in kata. Angles in kata are very important. Now with Naihanchi, we're sitting on 180 degrees, right? So we don't have any crazy angles to deal with. The angle to which you turn represents the angle which you must take relative to the opponent for the technique to work. It does not represent turning to face a new opponent, right? So in Naihanchi, my opponent's not necessarily on my side. I'm moving to the side of my opponent, right? I'm moving to the side of my opponent. So, can I do this with Kumite standing directly in front of me? Absolutely, right? But it's going to be more effective. It's designed to work, according to these rules, it's designed to work better if I get to his side, right? Which totally makes sense. We'll get into the Bunkai. I already have one for that first technique. Touching your own body in a kata indicates that you are touching part of your opponent, right? So touching yourself means touching your opponent, right? Yeah, just like the input, right? In the absence of a partner to practice with, where the kata touches your own body, you would be holding part of your opponent's body, right? So just as Kumite demonstrated, I'm reinforcing the input, right? So I'm not just slapping my forearm, I'm slapping my elbow. I'm actually have a piece of my opponent in there. All right, so camera died. All right, so we pick it where we left off, right? Rule number 8, and at the very end, it could have waited for 2 more. Don't attack hard parts of your opponent's body. Don't attack hard parts of your opponent with hard parts of your body. That makes sense, right? I don't want to punch him in the forehead, right? Break my knuckles, right? And I don't want to just make his stomach red by slapping it, right? I want to take my palm heel, drive it into the head to make his brain bounce around, and I want to take my knuckles and dig in to find those ribs, right? That's a guideline, especially in Naihanchi. That's a guideline and not a rule, because my elbow is hard, right? And I'm attacking his head with an elbow or something with an elbow, and I'm pretty sure I'm not trying to hit him in the chest, right? I think I could do damage if I hit him in the chest with an elbow, but if he hit me in the chest with an elbow, I don't think that's going to slow me down. Not like it would if he cracked me in the eye socket or in the temple or across the throat. Throat? I mean, according to these rules, throat would be a soft target. Man, that works, throat. But I'm still seeing hard parts of the head with hard parts of the elbow. But that's the only one, right? Because when we're doing this, we're not necessarily up high, right? I don't use that for a punch anyway, but it could be, right? I think this one, right? That's definitely not head, but I guess it could be dependent, right? I mean, you'll be hammering somebody in the testes with it, right? So, but yeah, soft to hard, hard to soft, right? Easy enough. There are no pauses in the application, right? The rhythm of the performance of kata has no bearing on the performance of the techniques extracted from it, right? So the rhythm of the form has nothing to do with its application, right? The application may happen sooner than in the form. The application may happen much later than in the form. This might all be one technique, but that might be the entire fight. That may take 30 seconds to actually accomplish, right? So X tries to punch me in the face, right? And then I get mixed up, I don't get knocked out. Cool. And I'm trying to get a hold of this, but he doesn't want me to get a hold of it, right? So he starts to fight this, right? He gets his arm loose and I get a hold of this one. Then I reach up and I try and get a collar tie. And he's fighting off that collar tie, right? Fighting off the collar tie. Boom, I finally got the collar tie. Then I pull him into this elbow, right? Bang. Right? I hit him with the elbow. Bang. Anything worth doing once is worth doing 2 and 3 times. Right? So together, that's not just going to be nice and easy. Right? He's not going to give it to me. Not going to let me have it. That may take some time. Right? I get on the outside and I don't have that hand. Right? And then we're wrestling for it. We're wrestling for it before I get a chance to throw my elbow. Right? So the kata, one timing. The fight, however long it takes to apply the technique, and you may have to bail on it. Right? All right. So now we have our rule set. Right? My opponent is always in front of me. Okay? The angle I take in the form is the angle I am in relation to my opponent. Right? Since we're doing Naihanchi, I'm always in this sort of orientation. Right? That could be here, or that could be, so I can face the camera. That could be here. Let's move this way. Right? So I'm side facing my opponent. I want my opponent to my side. That doesn't necessarily mean my opponent is attacking me from my side. Right? I'm just trying to get around to my side, which makes sense, right? Because my attack cone is like this. Like this is where all my powerful techniques are coming from. If he is outside of that, right, then he's outside of my most powerful attack cone, right? And especially dealing with Naihanchi, it's a close quarter system, right? So he's up on me outside of my attack cone, Versus like at a distance, right? That's going to be a problem, right? But up close at this range makes sense. So taking it from the first technique, right? Draw my diamond, sweep up, down, right? That's our initial contact, right? The kata tells you from the jump, get your hands up, right? Now, how is he going to attack me? Is he going to grab me or is he going to punch me? How are you going to attack me? Are you going to grab me or are you going to punch me? I wish fights did go like that. I can ask him and then he doesn't. I don't know. I don't know, right? I don't know, right? But I know I want to get my hands up. I want to get my hands up. I want to protect myself. I want to get my chin down, right? I mean, the kata is very sanitized, but the fight, we know we have to protect ourselves. We want to attack his Kyusho points. We want to protect our Kyusho points, right? According to the rules, eyes and throat. I want to protect eyes and throat, right? So he goes for a grab. I get my hands up. I make my diamond. I get my hands up. He gets his grab. Make your grab, right? He gets his grab. I get my hands up. I make my diamond, right? He goes for a punch. Go for a punch. I get my hands up. He makes my diamond. He goes for a wild swing. Go for a wild swing. I get my hands up. I make my diamond. It doesn't really matter what he does, right? Doesn't really matter what he does. I don't want him standing right here. Now this is when we start to get to my eye, right? I don't want him standing right here, right? He just moves, and it's going to be hard for me to react. I have to have some sort of reactionary gap. So I have that reactionary gap. I can't hit him from here. He can't hit me from there, right? So he's going to have to at least take a step to get at me, right? Which gives me an opportunity to get something up in here, right? So we're going to work just on that, right? I'm going to try and surprise him with, try to surprise him with something. I can't tell you I'm going to surprise you and then do the technique because I just told you I was going to try and then look at you like, right? So we're just going to use this reactionary gap, and I'm not going to tell him what hand I'm going to swing with, or if I'm going to swing, I'm just going to reach out and accost him some sort of way, right? All he's working on is building that diamond, getting his hands up, chin down, right? Because if he's going to take a shot, if I get through all that, takes a shot, let's take it in the forehead, right? That can go through a car windshield. Don't ask me how I know that. Alright, so I'm going to attack you first. Okay, right? Easy money. Right? So, Kata tells us after we get our hands up, right, we're going to start to feel, right? I'm starting to split open, right? Why am I doing that? Because I'm starting to try and control limbs. I'm starting to try and find limbs, right? So, hands up and then I'm finding limbs, right? I got to see what I'm dealing with, right? If he's going ham and throwing, then I'm trying to get control of his arms, right? If he's reaching, trying to grab me, I want him to stop doing that, right? If he decides to go for a weapon, right, I want to make sure I get a hand on him, right? So now I'm going to attack him a handful of times. He's going to defend and then try and find some points, right? Shoulder, elbow, wrist, shoulder, elbow, wrist, right? Or head. Right? Head's a good point too. See, now we're bridging the gap between Bunkai and Kumite. And when I say Kumite, I don't mean sparring. I mean our doing sparring, but not the form of fighting with each other, right? I mean in the form of I'm working on a technique, and his responses are going to be random, right? It's not like one step. He's just going to give me a straight. different every time to build those reps. Now we're getting Kumite, bridging the gap between Bunkai and Kumite and utilizing the Kata, right? So we Kata, we drilled the technique, so Kihon, broken it down to usable techniques, Bunkai. So hands up, just feeling around, trying to get some sort of control. All right, so now, where are we? All right, we built the diamond, get our hands up. We start to feel for where our opponent is. Now, we're applying this, right? The kata's telling me, or it tells me, this is what I'm listening to, is after I clear arms, right, I'm gonna seize my opponent's head, right? Because whenever you touch yourself, you touch your opponent. I'm gonna seize my opponent's head and I'm gonna put pressure down. Right? So deal with the arms, grab their head, put pressure down. Why would I want to do that? Right? Because it's much harder for him to punch me like this than it is when his head is up, right? And according to the rules, the body goes where the head goes, correct? So now we're starting to get control of that. Get control of the arms, clear the arms, get control of the head. Start putting downward pressure. The kata tells me downward pressure. Does it necessarily mean it's going to get down like this? No. Downward pressure can be that much. Right? It could be that much. I got downward pressure trying to get control of his head. And again, according to the rules, the tempo at which the kata's performed doesn't have any bearing on how you apply it. Right? So it could stop right there. Right? Trees. If you've ever seen a Thai fight and somebody get that plum and just start jacking knees in there, you know, and those exist in the form. So we're just going to trade this one back and forth. I'm going to attack you. You're going to get your hands up, clear, seize the head, put downward pressure, right? And then we're just going to trade. I'm going to attack you, back up, you're going to attack me, so have your reactionary gap. Make sure when you do these drills, you keep your teeth together. I'm fine. I thought it was my turn. You surprised me. Alright, so take hands up. Seize our opponent's head, our clear limbs, seize our opponent's head, apply some downward pressure. Okay? Now once we start getting control of our head, what are we doing? We're stepping to our opponent's side. Right? I'm getting to my opponent's side. Right? So downward pressure, get to my opponent's side. I have control of the limb, right? Because I'm utilizing the hikite, and I'm gripping their head, right? There's a couple of motions, there's a couple of uses for this hikite that I like. One is yes, right? Pulling that arm. Another one is trying to strip a grip, right? So you make your grip, I'm trying to strip that, right? That's part of that. Before it gets set, or underneath, trying to strip that grip. So now we're gonna put that together. Clear limbs, control the head, right? You control the head, you start working to the side. Seize a limb, get control of your head. Or maintain control of the head because you already got it. So that could be seizing a limb or clearing a limb, right? A lot of the same things going on. Alright, so I'm going to attack you first. Take your time. Clear, control the head, you got to work to the side. Work to the side. There you go. Cool. I'm coming hard forward, right, you don't want to stand there. You know what I'm saying? If I'm blitzing, you don't want to stand there. You want to work to the side. Get hands up, work to the side, right? Doesn't matter how fast the train is going if you're not standing on the tracks when it comes by. Right? I'm playing hands.
Oh God, I'm turning it.
Me too.
I got something else.
Yeah, it is. I forgot that too.
2 inches, 2 points.
Yeah, right. Alright, instead of planting your feet, your hand down, and trying to reach for limbs, right? Stay mobile, right? Before you're stepping in, right? Now you're kind of doing that, right? Just get mobile. You could come forward, you could back off, you could start stepping to the side, circle, I don't care, right? But I would much rather see you move your feet than not move your feet. Yeah, big difference. You could, right? There's nothing saying, like, make your attack. There's nothing saying you can't achieve your collar tie in that manner. We're just getting control of the hand, right? Just getting control of the hand. A couple more times. All right. So where are we? Made our diamond to get our hands up, protect ourselves, don't get KO'd. Start looking for something, right? I got a hold of a shoulder, an elbow, a wrist, a head, what have you. Start to get control of the limbs, right? Your opponent will dictate what you get control of, right? Your opponent will dictate what you get control of. Right now, it's very clean, right? I give him one thing, and he reacts to that one thing, right? I let him have it, right? Because we're working on it. But if I'm, right? He's going to have to try and shut that down. I give him more arms. He tries to get in there, right? It's going to be chaotic. So, hands up, clear. Control the opponent's head, put some downward pressure, start to work to their side. Now, we've got control of our opponent. We've slowed them down a little bit. Now we're going to make them pay, right? So we're going to fire that elbow, right? Get hold of it and fire that elbow. When I say anything worth doing once, is worth doing 2, 3 times. So I go for my attack, he gets his diamond up, he clears the limbs, gets control of my head, gets some downward pressure, works to my side. Bang! 1, 2, and 3. Broke the glasses. Alright, so where we at? Yeah. So, cleared, got a hold of the head, downward pressure, work to the side, get a hold of the collar tie, slide through with an elbow. Anything worth doing once is worth doing 3 times. Here, stacking their head, getting a hold of their arm, getting an underhook, do the first takedown of the cup. Right? So he makes his attack. I get my hands up, right? I clear, right? Playing Chisao, start looking for something. I gotta find his head. Boom, found his head, right? I track into that elbow, bang, start to weaken him up a little bit, bang, bang, right? He stands still so I can stand right in front of him and nail him with elbows. He's coming forward hard, then I'm working to his side. He comes forward hard, then I'm working to his side, right? Kata tells me I'm working to my opponent's side, right? I have that option. Or even stepping back, come hard, right? Or step, just open that gate. Oh, and then run you into an elbow, right? So bang, bang, hit him with an elbow, and then my stack here, I'm utilizing a hikite, and I'm pushing underneath, right? And his head right in that armpit, right? After his head sits right in that armpit, And then this punch over here, there's my underhook, right? At that point, I'm trying to sit him down on the deck. We're not gonna fall, right? I want you to seat right here, get a hold of that arm, and then punch, underhook, but just don't follow through. Clears the arms, gets control of the head, downward pressure, cool, step to the side, starts hammering in elbow. Boom. Diminish. Right? Yep. There you go.
And then you said from here, under the arm.
Here. Yes, this one's here. Like you're doing a guillotine.
Yes, sir.
Right? Hold this arm.
Oh, right. Yes, sir.
Underhook.
Yes, sir.
Underhook.
Oh, this one.
Underhook.
Oh,
The head. Yes. Because you don't want this. Right?
Oh.
So underhook high.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Now, you're going to throw my arm in that direction.
Yes, sir. This one.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's the way you want to turn. Big steering wheel.
Yes, sir.
Big steering wheel.
Oh, yes, sir.
Right? Chop this arm down. Don't lift it up. Chop this arm down.
Yes, sir.
Chop this arm down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Big turn a big steering wheel. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Right? Big steering wheel. Right? Or you put some footwork with that. Right? Get a wrist tie, a collar tie. Right? We're gonna go on the wrist tie side. Take a step back, right? Get step down. Get that, get a hold of this arm, I hook here, right? I turn. Right? Turn. Whoop. Big steering wheel. Standing still, not gonna work. Has to work in motion, right? And you can always throw some dirt on. You can always throw some dirt on. What do I mean when I say throw dirt on? Right? Cracked it, cracked it, cracked it. Put him there, right? I throw some dirt on. Bang, you don't like that. Bang, I throw some dirt on. Bang, I throw some dirt on. Right? You can always throw some dirt on. So clear the limbs. Good forearm strike to my eye.
Oh, you okay, sir?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Don't stop.
Okay, it's like, and then.
No, just maintain that.
Yes,
now just step back.
Yes, sir.
Step back and around and turn.
Oh, yes, sir.
You have to lift up high. Yeah, you gotta lead with that underhook. Gotta lead with that underhook. Right? So I'm throwing with this here, right? And I'm letting this go down. So as I'm stepping back. Right? You know what? With this one, truck cutting up with an elbow.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nothing wrong with that. Right? You already got a headlock there, so sit down on that. Lift up. Yeah. Lift up. Okay. Gotta get some momentum back. Right? I want some.
Yeah. I think I'll
Just get that motion. Right? Get the arm, underhook, and then turn. Crack. Now, wrist tie. Hold my head. Wrist tie. Head. Take a step back. Throw my head under that armpit. Under it. Under
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yep, there you go.
Yes, sir.
Clear this arm. Clear this arm.
Yes, sir.
Take a step back.
Oh.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go. I'll sit down on that. All right. So, what are we using? Get our hands up. Don't get punched in the face. Clear the arm. Find the head. Get your points of contact. You control the head. Put some downward pressure on it. Work to my opponent's side. Hold the head. Strip the arms. Clear a lane. Right? Clear a lane to fire the elbow. Reinforce the elbow. Right? Get to the armpit. Sit down on that. And for this section, we're going to stop right there. For the bunkai, we're going to stop right there. So we've gone through the kata. We've looked at the Kihon, right? The basic technique. techniques and drilled some of the basic techniques of the kata. And we've broken it down into the bunkai. And then we've practiced a little bit of the drills, a little bit of free drill just to understand it. A step beyond that kumite would be us actually trying to hit one another, neutralize the punches. We have to put some gloves on, put mouthpieces in for that. But I'm going to try and tag him a little bit. He's going to try to neutralize, step in to stop me from doing that. Then we're going to switch and then we're going to open up to us both trying to punch, grab, and thwart each other with said techniques. And then you can end it or reset at a throw. Right? You get to that point, boom, take your opponent down, reset, and then go again. Okay, so now we're in the dojo, and we're going to go over some of the kumite drills for Naihanchi. So we already covered the kata, we covered the Kihon from the kata, we drilled some of the techniques, we went over the bunkai. Now we're going to actually apply some of the techniques that we pulled out of the kata and using the bunkai. We're just going to do it in a live sense. So today we're going to work 3 drills. I brought my student Will with me. Say hi, Will. Hi, Will. I brought my student Will with me, right? Like body sizes, right? You see me towering over X, Kimani, and this one will be a little more organic. You'll see there's a strict difference between those 2 gentlemen, or between Will and X, and that helps me out a little bit, so it doesn't look like I'm just over the guy that I'm 100 pounds heavier than. So we're going to do 3 drills. The first drill, we're going to be working on our diamond, and then searching, right? So from the beginning of the form here, Will's going to be throwing punches at me. I'm going to be trying to neutralize the punches, right? So he boxes, he's going to be throwing normal boxing style punches. I'm going to try to parry, catch, what have you, and neutralize his attack, and then try and find his head. Because we're self-defenders and we're not trying to fight, right? If he presses me, I will try to neutralize him. If he starts to back off, I'm not trying to chase him down and go into fire. He makes the decision to back off, I back off, I make space. Okay, another drill, we're both going to be active, working on our thread, hikite, and our impe, right? So we're both trying to see collar ties, we're both working on our wrist ties to try and land that elbow, right? So he's going to be trying to strip grips from me and strike elbows while attaining the collar tie. We'll be trying to do the same, but we're both going to have to defend ourselves from those techniques as well. And then the final drill that we're going to run, we're going to be working on our namagaeshi, right? Where we're going to be sweeping and hooking our feet, right? So I'm going to be trying to throw him to the ground, and he's going to be trying to throw me to the ground, while I'm maintaining, my stance, and he maintains his stance. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so sit up, in the jab. A little more than that. Yeah, there you go. About that's good.
So we jab boxing or just 1, 2?
No. You're throwing what you have. Okay. You're working in combinations, and I'm trying to be offensive. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I have no weapons, and you have all the weapons.
Okay.
Because I'm working on.
So it's like I'm the attacker.
You're the attacker.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you're 3-punch combination, jab, cross hook, or whatever. Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Double jab, something. I'm trying to neutralize that.
Okay.
So I'm going to be real hands-on.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Hands-on. Maybe hit position, you try to punch out a little bit, but I'm going to break contact.
Gotcha.
Right? But I'm just trying to, once I get to, we punch, right? Once I get to like this, right? And you can try to work out, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on. Right? Because I don't want to stand there and just clinch wrestle.
Yeah.
You can always just clinch wrestle.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm working on this and this, right? So the punch comes. Right? I get a hand in the way, right? And then when I start to look, right, I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't want that to come. Yeah, there we go. I don't want that to come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you still work from your punch, right?
Yeah.
You still work from your punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see? I'm still trying to fight and work.
Yes, sir.
Once I get to that position, boom,
Yes.
disengage.
Yes, sir. Right.
So, a few seconds, but don't just do this. Give me a combination, stop. You gotta then back off.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Like work it until make you work.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
right?
All right. I'm not gonna be the coward who's afraid I'm gonna hurt you. I trust your skill set.
No, that's why I had you punch. Like when I'm saying, like
Yeah.
punching for it, that's as hard as I need you to punch.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because I'm not gonna work you over, but then it does us no good for me to open up my nose. Yeah, that's a trick.
Yes, sir.
Now if I'm sitting there like, and you punch me, ha! That's on me. That's on me. You know what I'm saying? But if you knock me unconscious, like
That's yeah.
either I got a glass jaw or you put some steam on it.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think I got a glass jaw.
I don't think you got a glass jaw either.
You back off, I'm back off. He just ducked. All right, so you saw in that drill, Will was working some combinations, and I'm trying to get my fence up, get hands in there, feel around, right? The hand that I'm in contact with, jab hand, whatever, I want to maintain contact with that, but I want to find his head, but I also want to control that other hand. Get in nice and tight and try and protect my ribs, protect my head. Like we're doing here, dropping the chin down, right? Keeping our throat protected, keeping our jaw protected. And you're still going to eat some shots, right? But if you got to take it, it'll be in the brow. And I was taking a couple of those. They were staying off the side. One time I came in head up and it, popped me in my chin, right? So you still got to remember.
so you see them both fighting for position, trying to attain collar ties, trying to control our opponent's limbs, trying to strike with the elbow. So we're utilizing the hikite, trying to clear a lane for the elbow. But what you see in there, which we're both utilizing, striking with the forearm, pressing in with the elbow. Every time we came over top, to clear a limb, palm heel, eye gouge. The elbow just doesn't have to be horizontal, right? You saw us rising into the elbow, dropping into the elbow, right? The elbow doesn't just have to be a strike, right? I can use that to strip grips as well, right? Clear a lane, but he defends. Boom, he defends with his elbow, right? So, there's a lot of techniques you can learn just by trying to apply the drill, right? It's also a very good workout. So, this final drill, we're going to set our grips, and then we're just going to go for reaps and hooks. I'm trying to kick his leg out from under him, so I'm trying to kick my leg out from under me. We're both going to be working the Naihanchi and working on maintaining our balance, right? So we're not going to step off the mat. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start the timer and we'll get it going. Stuff. So, a lot of pulling and pushing, trying to reap, trying to hook, but what you probably didn't see in there, that we were both feeling, every once in a while, we'd spear him with a knee. Not on purpose, but those are there. So, right now, it is just that piece of the drill where we're trying to reap, working on pushing and pulling. But, all the dirt would still normally be there, right? So in the kata, we're here, we have a hold of our opponent, we're reaping and shifting, right? That's after we've wrapped them up, we've tagged them a couple times, we pulled them, got a hold of them, and then we're dumping them, right? So you put these drills together, work them, practice the kata, work out the bunkai, get a partner, and then work through it live, see what you learn from it. Right? There's a lot of things that we picked up, that I've learned, that weren't necessarily in the bunkai, weren't necessarily in the kata, but it's a layer below, and it's a learning process, right? You find things out. I'm finding things out right now, working with a much bigger man, right? Because there are things that I cannot do to him, just from size, right? So work with different body types. Work with, people who are stronger. You learn quite a bit. So, what were the drills? To recap, excuse me. One man's got on boxing gloves, trying to work some light combinations. Block and parry, catch, neutralize the arms, right? Keep your chin down, get that fence up, that diamond, find the head. Here, working on that returning wave kick, right? But we know we got some hidden knees in there. And even hooking behind the leg and spiking with the heel. Oblique kicks, right? Trying to kick knees and shins and ankles out from underneath my opponent.
Can I add something?
Go for it.
There's even opportunities for leg traps with that same Namiyeshi. Not just hooking behind, right? There's the hook behind, then there's also where you ride up and try to get them like that. So there's several opportunities for the Namiyeshi.
Very good, very good. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's the third drill? Third drill. All right, was the most important one, right? It starts right from the beginning, trying to work to our opponent's side, utilize that ikite, thread, sees some sort of grip. Now, I like the collar tie. Doesn't necessarily have to be the collar tie. It could just be, shoulder, arm, head, back, whatever, to clear a lane so I can fire the elbow, right? I like firing the elbow to the head, but to the ribs, up, down, what have you, breaking grips, like we said, right? So all those things apply.
Yes, sir.
So after this, seeing how I'm feeling, right? That's really going to dictate what my Hojo Undo is going to be, where I need to get stronger. And I can feel where I need to get stronger for dealing with a man like Will. So, thank you. Moving on. All right, now, so here I'm up on the balcony, and after doing some of the Kumite and applying some of the techniques and concepts from Naihanchi on Will, I had to rethink the Hojo Undo that I wanted to do for this this segment. I had it in my mind, some of the techniques and some of the tools that I was going to use, but after going through the drills with a man much stronger than X, I had to switch around a few things, right? So now I'm going to use a few pieces of equipment, some pieces of equipment to help strengthen. I want to strengthen my fingers, wrists, grip strength. And I noticed that I had a lot of fatigue in my shoulders just from pushing and pulling with Will. So we're going to use a couple of things for that, and I'm going to show you those right now. For my fingers, I'm going to use my bucket of sand to do my tiger claws and my jabs into. For some of my grip work and shoulders, arms, I'm going to use my sledgehammer. All right, for grip strength, I'm going to use my grippers. For more shoulder and grip strength and wrist strength, I'm going to use my wrist roller, a few plate weights. And for total body fitness and general strength building, I'm going to use my kettlebell. Alright, this here is nothing special. It's just a bucket full of beach sand. And I'm really working on not so much striking with the tips of the fingers, just trying to keep them together so that as I'm going into the sand, they don't start to distort, right? So I'm really working on squeezing them together, keeping them as straight as possible. Right? So right now I'm just going to do a set of 10 of each, but really when you're trying it, you want to count by the 100. And you're trying to drive through the surface of the sand and try and hit the bottom of the bucket. That's the goal, right? It's going to slowly, slow your fingers down. You're probably not going to hit the bottom of the bucket. And if you've ever done this training before, you understand what I'm talking about when it wants to separate the fingers and bend them in weird directions, right? You really want to fight to keep them as straight as possible, right? I'm going to do another set. And then after that, using my tiger claw to strike in and grip. Again, I'm just doing a handful, but no pun intended. But you really want to do these, and you want to count by the 100. And the whole point of this is not necessarily to strike with your fingers and, you know, try and put your hand inside of somebody. It's so when you're reaching and grappling, when you get that lone finger that gets caught in the sleeve or collar or something like that, it's not just gonna, you know, rip a tendon or snap it or something like that. It helps bolster it a little bit. All right, now moving on to the sledgehammer. If you've ever done any work with Indian clubs or battle mace, then you'll recognize some of the things. All right, so I'm going to start with some pullovers and a squat. Work the bicep a little bit. I like to just toss it from side to side. Do some grave diggers. Now we're going to get some rotation. Of course, with the sledgehammer, it's not so much about raw strength as it is about endurance. Some strength, yeah, but I want to last. Okay, so these grippers aren't really anything special. I mean, this one, Everlast, you can find at Walmart or Academy. I got this one from Academy. But this one's a little different. It's called the Kings of Crush. This was introduced to me by a buddy of mine, a guy I trained with for over 20 years. But these things are ridiculously difficult to close. There's 5 levels of it, and they go up in half levels, and this is a level 2. At one time I could close this, but now I'm just not strong enough. I grip one of 2 ways, right? Your standard, I guess, overhand grip, and then I reverse it. So I like to start off with about, 4 or 5, as many of these as I can get. I'm still below 10, can't close it. But then I move on to this one for a burnout. And this one, like I said, you want to count by the 100. So let's see if I can close it today. For the camera, almost. About all I got.
take a break, switch to my other hand. About 5 is all I can get. Okay. Let's try for the reverse. Let's see. One more time. Almost. Watch this. Nah. Not today. Gotta build my strength back up. All right. My weak hand. Left hand. Not even close. You hear it crying. Eight, 9, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm already smoked. 4. Do 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5. Oh, baby. So yeah. Woo. Forearms are on fire. But yeah, I want to tax those because even after those few rounds of doing the, doing the drills, my grip was tired, grip's taxed, just from gripping this gi. So those are a really good exercise. Do a few strength techniques, nothing terribly specific. I'm not going to go through an entire workout. I'm just going to demonstrate some of the movements that I like for strengthening the muscles I deem necessary to really apply the techniques of Naihanchi. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a set of halos. Start with that wakes up the grip, gets my biceps activated, starts to work out the shoulders. Right, and then, of course, swing. Alright, that's that hinge. Works that whole posterior chain, firing through the hips. Very important muscles, especially when you're driving. Now for a squat. Legs. Very important. Now for a push. Of course, we're working the triceps, but really, it's that shoulder I'm looking at. And finally, my wrist roller, right?
I like to do small plate, big plate, and then big plate, small plate, and that's pretty much it for the wrist roller for the day. This is something you really need to maintain and do every day if you want to see any progress with. So, just because I'm in demo mode, I'm just going to do my big plate, 5 pounds. So, straight out, shoulders, and then just roll. Sure, you want to try and keep the bar level, right? None of that. I really wish I had done this before I did the gripper. So you roll it forward all the way to the top, and then unroll it all the way to the bottom, and reverse roll it all the way to the top. Should I edit that part out? I don't think so. Then roll it out. And here I thought it was the shoulders that were going to be taxed. No, forearms that are on fire. All right, that's enough.